President of the National Association of Athletics Administration of Trinidad and Tobago, George Comissiong, will lead the Pursuing Performance and Progress slate as he seeks a second mandate to lead the governing body for track and field. He spoke to Wayne Cunningham ahead of Saturday's election of officers.
The National Association of Athletics Administrations of Trinidad and Tobago, NAAATT, will conduct elections of officers at their AGM on Saturday. One of the candidates for president is the incumbent, George Comissiong. He visited our studios at TTT and told us why he should get his second term as head of the nation's most successful sport. George, welcome to TTT, and firstly, let me congratulate you on a stewardship in a difficult 5 years, a difficult term for sport and the nation. You know, it's commendable to come through that period, you know, unscathed, as we say. But elections on Saturday, tell me why are you going up for another 5-year term?
Well, let me first thank you for having me. Mountain here will mark 26 years of continuous service to track and field, NAAAs. I had considered retiring, if you like, and walking away from the sport, but a number of persons have approached me and have asked me to continue. They recognize the contribution that I've been making, and they feel that there is much more that I could do. So I've heeded their call, and I've thrown my hat back in the ring, and I'll face the electorate, if you like, on Saturday.
All right. What would you point to as your core achievements in your first term?
As president, I would say being able to stabilize and grow the finances of the organization. What many people don't realize is that NAAAs is in fact a private limited liability company. We are subject to all the laws that govern local companies, but in addition to that, because we receive government funding, we are treated as a state agency, and that comes with a different set of obligations. We are now subject to the Office of the Procurement Regulator, so we have to manage our affairs in a certain way. Because we receive monies from outside, prize monies, we do have an international contract and so on, we are also subject to scrutiny from the Financial Intelligence Unit. So it is important that you manage your finances beyond reproach. We would have trained at least 50 technical officials. We have 100 or so who have already been registered ahead of CARIFTA 2025 to be trained. We trained 26 coaches. So if you look at the data, the statistics are there. We have grown all our affiliations. We have more athletes, more coaches, more technical officials, more sponsors. I think we're doing a good job.
All right.
How can corporate Trinidad and Tobago help the sport by providing employment opportunities? We have a lot of young athletes who go off on scholarship. When they graduate, there are no jobs for them in Trinidad. So they either stay in the States and we lose them eventually. There is high attrition among the women. The fallout rate is very high once you start transitioning from the juniors into the seniors. We need to come up with some strategies, some programs that could keep them in the sport. That would be one of my key drivers, if you like, in our next term.
George, thanks a lot for coming and sharing your views with us. You know, best of luck on Saturday. You know, and we hope to see you again at TTT. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also seeking the presidency of the NAAAs, or the N3As rather, TT, with his Athletics Alliance slate is Serrette. TTT Sport ventured to Morva and caught up with the organization's former leader.
Serrette was the president of the National Association of Athletics Administrators from 2006 to 2021. Now, at Saturday's election of the track and field governing body, he's seeking a second term. Why, we ask? we visited his residence in Mova to get the answer. From Serrette, long-time administrator, you had a very long stint from 2006 to 2020, 2021. Why come back?
I've been approached by quite a number of persons with respect to the state of the association, you know, people concerned about track and field not meddling, which, you know, we have to be very careful about. I mean, when you go to Olympics and these big games, there's only 3 medals available. We have been very fortunate over the years, and for me, I was very fortunate during my term winning gold medals at World Juniors with Marshall Sidenio, Comissiong, and then Olympics and the World Championships, the 4x4 team beating the US. So a lot of things were in my favor. I would have brought a number of sponsors on board so that the association was less dependent on government for funding, where development was concerned. So we would have only approached government for high performance teams travel. So I would have stayed as the little stint as advisor to the minister. It would have given me more insight and some experience and given me some ideas or strategies that could benefit the emerging challenges that the association is having. So one of my first on my agenda, the first thing is to rebrand. So I'm going to change from NAAATT to Athletics TTO. So I'm going to change the brand. I also have plans of collaborating with the Ministry of Sport and Community Development Education with the ITRU Sport program, where they are in primary schools and secondary schools. So we have to get into the schools at that level, work with them, and see how we could guide them to clubs and, you know, build the sport within these schools. Also, on my plan is to develop a high-performance center. I say that because a lot of our athletes are now leaving, even the junior athletes are leaving to go to Jamaica. And then when we don't have control of the athletes who are in the college system, the UE and UTT, I don't think they're doing sufficient to attract our athletes to stay home. So we definitely need to identify athletes early and have them into this high performance center where we could have more control. Also, I want to reach out to the diaspora. There are a number of young athletes with Trinidad and Tobago parentage who willing and want to represent Tobago. The Frederick sisters, the twin. We also last year or earlier this year we had the Ray sisters. So I mean, some people may see it as a threat to the local athletes, but I think that is something for them to step the game up.
How do you see Trinidad and Tobago track and field for the future, if you as president or not?
Well, even in my hiatus, I was still involved with the sport. If you look at the history of the sport, we have always had those lulls. So from Hazley to Atto to, you know, Jereem. So it is difficult. It is difficult. We have some young ones now, but again, the mindset and how do we prepare them to transition, especially the junior athletes, how they transition to that senior thing. So those are some of the things we have to work on, transitioning the junior athletes, working with the seniors and getting them to perform in a mentorship role, the Richard Thompsons and all those, you know, Jereem may have another couple of years. Sidenio is out of it now. So those are athletes we would love to reach out to mentor our young athletes.
From Serrette, thanks a lot for having us at TTT and best of luck in the election on Saturday. We hope to talk to you again.
Thank you. You would be talking to me.